So a lot of people get caught up in these big fancy centers, but a lot of times them people probably will be making the same amount you'll be making in a building this size. So here's part 2 to the tour y'all asked for. It's long but very informative. So strap on your seatbelts and take notes. So you would make money even with the lower number, just because the overhead is so low. So this would be considered boutique style. So boutique style is basically, it's small, but the numbers are so low that you maximize your profit. So that's the good thing. The numbers definitely number. It's just how much are you gonna spend? I'll be honest, the parking, you're gonna have some, I ain't gonna say issues, but it's gonna end up being problematic only because it's so tight. There's when we walk back out, I want to see if you could take that fence thing down, because like for instance, there are 2 cars out there in the van. So how I look at it is if that were parents or teachers. When people, one of the main things, I think I talked about this in the class, if they can't get in and out with ease, that's a reason for them to just say, I don't want to do it. Now, the good thing about it is you do have on-street parking. So some people will be smart enough to say, okay, I'm not even going to pull in. I'm going to just pull up, run in, and jump back out. But when it comes down to your parking, it's going to be very tight. So you're going to have like just a real system in place for, you have to figure something out because it's really tight. And honestly, once you get in order to turn around, you got to back in and come back out. So if you got somebody trying to back into a space to turn out and trying to pull in, you're going to have a lot of problems. Other than that, you're doing better than most places because some people don't even have parking. You might get 2-3 spaces. So it's not a deal breaker, but it's something you're going to have to be extremely intentional about coming up with a plan for. Let's do a walkthrough. It's choppy, but that's not a deal breaker because like me, I can visualize. First thing I would probably do is take that wall out. This the main entrance. I probably would take this wall out, add a wall here and a door. That makes this one big classroom, right? And then this would just be my little space. So I probably would do a desk right here, just something small. You have to understand the more fancy you get, the less licensed space you have. So you could use this as a reception area and make it pretty and fancy, but you're probably losing about 2 kids. So let's do the math. 2 kids at just say $250 a week. That's $2,500 a month you would be losing trying to be cute. But it just depends on what your goal is. So I'm gonna just do a quick little, let's see, this wall in this room. So that has a sink in here already. That's good. The fireplace need to be covered up. I'll take that wall out. I'm coming up with the floor plan as I'm walking in or adjacent to or share a wall. So that's perfect. If you make this a part of the room, then you meet that requirement. So this would probably need to be somebody's office because that's going to be a classroom, but you can't walk through a classroom to get to common areas. It has to be like a direct designated pathway for people to get to where they need to be. So if you have a cook that needs to come in the kitchen and that's the classroom, that means that if this is a classroom and that's the classroom, the cook has to walk through both rooms in order to get to the kitchen. You don't want that, but you probably wouldn't mind the cook walking through your office. You can keep all your stuff locked up. And then this will be a place where only you or she could come through. And this is just me brainstorming. Because, girl, my brain get to moving and I'll be coming up with all kind of stuff. That's fine because that shares a wall. Shares a wall. If there's not a support wall, I would take those out. I see there's no connection for a stove, which is fine. You don't have to have an oven.
I think she said it's capped off. Do you see a cap down there?
Let me see. Oh, okay. So maybe it's a gas one. Is this it? Okay, cool. Honestly, though, you don't need a stove to get started. Like for over at Hateville, the one we're doing for Janiyah, it's just going to be a warming kitchen. So we'll do crock pots, microwaves, hot plates, things like that, just because especially what you require in a special use permit, you might not even want to open that can of worms, because when it comes down to a special use permit, that's all the stuff that they're going to take into consideration. So that would be one of those things. I probably would say I'm either going to do offsite catering, like have somebody cater the food, or we'll have a warming kitchen only, or we'll serve cold food. So cereals, sandwiches, tuna fish, things like that. So it's ways to get around it. And then once you get in here and get stuff flowing, you can determine from there if you want to add it on. Kitchen kind of big too. That's a good thing. You could grow into it. Here's my suggestion. I see now where you can get at least 3 rooms. So like with this room, same thing. If this is not a support wall, I would take this out, make this one big room, because this will probably be licensed for maybe like 8-ish. Over here, infants. Well, no, because this room don't have plumbing. It can't be an infant room unless you do like a portable sink. This might be like 4 to 6 kids, maybe about 5. So we say 8, we'll just say 5, just 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We know we can't make this no room. I can maybe another 8 here. So 13, 21. And then this gonna be your biggest room. I would take this wall out and make this one big room. This one plus this one is probably gonna be 10 to 12. So I would say at maximum 35, minimum maybe 28. For the rate, honestly, that's great. Your biggest problem is gonna be the special use permit. I've been dealing with that for 3 years. But you have to think, Hateville, East Point, and College Park, they one and the same. The smaller cities have nothing else to do but govern whether or not they want your stuff here. What I think I would do if I were you, there are a few things that I would start off with. I would go to the city of Hateville personally, or find out who's over the zoning ordinances and figure out if they have any like objections at all. Because some people say, oh no, we think a daycare would be great. And then that'll kind of give you the energy. But if you got people that like a daycare, no, it's too close to the main street. It don't mean you can't fight it. But what it means is they will do everything in their power if they don't want it to just continue to put up roadblocks. So in the special use permit, they get to tell you basically everything that they don't like about whatever it is you're trying to do right here being here. So they could say parking, they could say the neighborhood, they could say, it's too many residents. They could say whatever they want to say. What you need to figure out is what is this building zoned for it to have a special use permit, because daycare is automatically included in C1. It got to be something that's causing, you definitely need to go down to zoning and see why. You need to get clarity on that. Is a reason why. You just need to figure out what the zoning is or what the issue is, because that could give you some insight as to whether or not they're going to get, how hard of a time they're going to give you, or you just ask. When you call College Park, when you go down there, just ask them, what would be the reason the daycare would need the special use if it's zoned that particular way. Remove that fence so that when they come in,
The front fence?
on both sides, so that you can kind of create like a roundabout. So you might have to, it's gonna cost, but I'm just thinking of what you could do. Maybe you could ask for an easement to where you can take that curb out a little bit and create a driveway so that when they come in, I'm gonna have to play. It could be done, I just gotta figure out how. I get real creative with this stuff. This would be the only thing I could see you would have to, and then they're gonna make you knock up this concrete, because only, what's the measurement? A percentage of it can only be concrete. The rest of it has to be a resilient surface, so mold. So like for instance, since this used to be concrete, it's a process they're gonna make you go through. Now you could leave the concrete, but you would have to build it up. So I think like the first level has to be pea gravel. The second level has to be something else. The third level has to be something else. And then the top layer could be whatever your resilient surface is gonna be. So it might just be less expensive to just have the concrete pulled up, get you some tarp put down and some mulch or something like that. But if you don't wanna pull the concrete up, there is a building system that you can do that will make the surface be up to their standards. But you would definitely have to put some type of fence in right here, and then I would just run the playground from here all the way down. What I probably will also do is, I didn't see exactly what room that led to. I think one of them was the kitchen.
So this is closed off right here.
Oh, okay.
That one is closed. It's like a storage.
Okay. Can you expand to that eventually?
She said Dr. Shirley, did you say this space right here is insulated? That's
a big space.
Okay. So maybe that's an expansion project. Later on down the line, maybe you can expand to that since it's insulated.
Let me see if I can get the key.
And And that's good because that room would, can you access that room from the inside? No? Okay. So that probably could be an after school room, but probably gonna be how they gonna get to it without walking through the playground. That's gonna be an issue. So then maybe you can open up a wall depending on what it connects to. But so you're gonna have to create so that they don't have to walk through the parking lot to get to the playground. Right in here, you probably would have to get some steps created or some type of ramping and just put a fence right here, and that way they come out the front door and boom, go straight into the playground. You don't have to get the key. It's okay. Yeah, you're fine. So what's the lease term you think y'all are thinking?
We didn't create that yet. I was thinking, what you think, a year to start?
No, you're gonna have to put too much money in this for a year.
Okay. 5?
No, that's too long because it might not be a good area. I would say at least 3. Maybe do two with the option for you to renew at year 2 into 3 years. And in that way, it'll give you an opportunity to see if you even like the area. But I think it would be definitely a great area for sure, because this area is, I'm not going to say transitioning because it was never a bad area, but you got a lot of people and yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
But it's a great area.
Mhm.
Because if you go all the way down the street, houses just like
Mhm.
maybe 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, that's what we just said. It's definitely. Mhm.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
right here, historic district.
Yeah, that don't. When it comes to childcare, though, the districts and things like that, they don't really play a part in it. It's really the visibility and who she can reach being right here. But no, I was explaining to her because she's very, she's yes, like okay, I'm sorry. That means like upper echelon, like. She's going to cater to that type of clientele. She's not going to want like low to moderate income. So this will be great for her because in this area, you do have your, it's kind of mixed in. So you have some that are going to be middle class, which will be great because you can get your subsidies and things like that. But then you'll also have your good working parents who actually can afford to pay your higher rates and, things like that, which is good for you. And there are not a lot of daycares, especially not good boutique style in here. So, I mean, the building ain't going to be your issue. It's going to be the city. And honestly, people at this price point, if we're just being honest, they love a good boutique style upper echelon daycare because they feel like their children are going to get more individualized attention. They feel like it's safe. Everybody knows small cities, Hateville, East Point, College Park, police going to be there in 2 seconds. So, because they're their own jurisdiction. So things like that matter. You get you a control access system on the door, buzz in, out. I can give you the whole vendor list of whoever you need. So the area, even the inside, the work that you're going to have to do is very minimum. We're talking about knocking a few walls out, putting some drywall up, getting some bright paint inside and outside to give it that feel. And so the work is minimal. It's that special use permit. Yeah. Do you know anybody on the board or like anybody? I know you probably been here for a while in the zoning. Do you have any relationships down there maybe?